starting with your private pilot certificate because it typically costs between like $8,000 and $10,000 if you just go down to your local flight school, and it's a relatively small expense to figure out if that's what you want to invest in, because it is very expensive to do from like no experience to being an airline pilot. It costs a lot of money. So starting with the private pilot certificate, it never expires. You can have it forever. It's a pretty cool thing to have, even if you don't pursue it as a career. But yeah, that's where I would start. That's what I did.
Okay. Now, I'm going to back up to flight attendant. To be a flight attendant, you have to go to school for it?
No, you don't have to go to school for it. I just had a high school diploma. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in life. So I was like, oh, that sounds like a cool job. I get to travel. I get to meet a whole bunch of different people. So the requirements in the U.S., you have to be 21. And then depending on what airline you get hired for, you go to their training. So for my airline, I had to go to a month-long training in Salt Lake City, and they teach you everything about the aircraft that you fly or that you'll be working on. So you learn how to evacuate, you learn how like medical procedures and everything like that. So they're the ones that certify you.
Okay. So there's a certification involved.
Yes, it's a certification through the FAA as well. So they have strict standards of what flight attendants need to know. You have to pass tests. You have to perform all of the activities and all of the evacuations and everything on the training devices, which are just like pretty much like a deconstructed aircraft in a building, so that we have to simulate evacuations and water landings and everything like that. So survival stuff.
And how long that training lasts? A week, 2, a month?
Yeah, it was a month long. We got 2 days off in the whole month. So, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I know some airlines, it takes a little bit longer. My airline, we only had 4 airplanes that we had to train for. But I know some of the bigger airlines, the training is a lot longer because you have to get certified on each airplane. So I know some of the other airlines are anywhere from like 6 weeks to 8 weeks or something around there. But yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to take you to a different route. I know some of my friends have a private airplanes and they fly to private airports. And they have their own airplane, and the commercial, you have to go to security, and before you get on commercial airlines. So, what would be the difference between a commercial pilot and a private pilot, or there's no difference?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. A commercial pilot can carry passengers for hire. So as a private pilot, we cannot accept any form of payment for the flight. So, yeah, so I couldn't just go to the airlines right now and be like, I want to fly now, pay me. I have to go through a lot more certification through the commercial pilot, because that's when you're really able to fly for hire. So I can own a plane and I can fly passengers, but I just cannot be paid for that.
Oh, okay. So anybody who fly with you in your private plane, you cannot charge them?
No, I can't. So if I had my commercial certificate, I could be paid for that. But since I just have a pilot or private certificate right now, I can't be paid for that.
So you're saying if you don't have a commercial pilot license, you're flying private, you cannot charge. But if you have commercial, you can charge.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if I had like a private jet or something like that as a private pilot, I still couldn't get paid. But if I had my commercial certificate I could get paid.
Okay. 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 So now, how they make arrangements? Let's say I have an airplane. I want
Mhm.
you to have all your license. I want you to fly for me. How
Mhm.
you how you connect with the people who have airplane, but they don't have a pilot, but they want to hire the pilot? How that works?
I think it's mostly just word of mouth if it's not at a specific airplane or airline. I'm not quite at that stage yet, so I can't tell you exactly because I just don't know. But I'd say it's probably mostly word of mouth, just because it's kind of a very specific thing, and there's not too many pilots. And with each airplane, you have to have certain type rating for it. So, like right now, I'm only certified in a single engine airplane, so I can't go hop in a airplane with two engines and just go fly it. Like there's certain different ratings that I have to get for each specific plane.
Mhm. So you are free to negotiate whatever salary or work agreement with that private owner of the airline, right?
Yeah, if I was a commercial pilot, I could do that. It would just be whatever I wanted to be paid.
Hmm. If you are listening to us, this is Secure Radio. Oh, today we have a great guest, Amy Swenson, who was a flight attendant and now going to school to be a pilot. Amy, how does it feel? We have a few minutes left before our second to end the first part. How does it feel to be out there in the cloud? What's the feeling?
Oh, it's so much fun. I love it. I love looking out and seeing just the ground. I think it's very cool. I love taking pictures. It's a different experience being in control of the airplane because you can look out the window on like a flight, like a airline or flight, but it's different to be able to control the aircraft. It's a very encouraging feeling that I can go take off and land an airplane by myself.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question. The question the kids ask: have you seen any alien up there?
I can't go very high yet, but maybe someday.
But do you think there's an alien up there?
I have no idea. That's above my pay grade.
We're going to close on this first part. I would like you to choose maybe a question I didn't ask and the closing, and then we come back for the second part. Anything you wanted to share I didn't ask for the first part?
I think just follow your dreams. I don't think it's not a career that women consider very often because it's such a male-dominated industry. Only 7% are women. So I think just opening the eyes to, like, if I was younger, just to be like, you can do it. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Any advice from a mother when she was a flight attendant, and did she encourage you at all?
She didn't believe me that I wanted to do it because I'm a very introverted, shy person, and she's the opposite. She's an extrovert. She was like, really, you want to go work with people all day long? But I couldn't imagine it but another way. Like I love my job as a flight attendant, but I'm excited to be on the other side of everything.
Oh, great. Okay, so Sekou Radio, we're talking to the world, to the millions of people. If you just join us, today our guest is Amy Swenson, who is learning how to fly. Is attending flying school in Daytona. Amy, in the second part, we're going to start talking about cargo, because I wanted to make sure people know the difference between cargo, commercial, and private. Can you brush up a little bit on that before we go into a break?
Yeah, so there's like flying private jets or like corporate flying or anything like that. There is cargo, so you're flying for like a UPS or a FedEx or Clita or something like that. And then commercial flying, which is just like the airlines, which is passenger traveling and everything like that. So there's positives and negatives to both, but it kind of just depends, or all of them, but it kind of just depends on what you choose for your lifestyle, because they're all a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much. This was our first part with Amy Swenson, flight attendant, soon to be pilot of Sekou Radio. And we're going to go into a break, and then we're coming back for the second part to continue an interview with Amy. Thank you, Amy.
Yes, thank you.